Hey everybody, this is Joseph Basic and welcome to the Fired Up Network. Welcome to the On the Mat Wrestling Show, a preview of Saturday night's main event from where? Yes, from Canada, From Canada, Montreal SmackDown, and then Saturday night main event. And right here in the freezing cold of Canada at the Scotiabank Arena Monday, where they're selling Rhea Ripley Maple Leaf t-shirts, Yeet t-shirt, Raptor t-shirts. They're selling WWE Raptor masks, everything like that. WWE is coming off, UK and Belgium. Now they're in Canada, and we have, due to popular demand, okay, in Orlando, where she just attended AEW. Zania here. Zania, first of all, how you doing?
Doing so good. Thank you for having me. Excited to talk about this.
All right, and we got Angie. The first time Angie's going to talk about wrestling. Let's see, Zania, if we could put her in the figure four, and and then she'll tap out and stuff like that. But Saturday night's main event, the Bell Center, and last time they were at the Bell Center, Sami Zayn had a great push. Maybe he gets a great push this weekend. First of all, for SmackDown, then for Saturday night's main event. Now I'm going to ask you this. I'll ask Angie first. Angie, you're not like me and Zania. We live wrestling and all that, but when you remember Saturday night's main event, or watching it late night on Saturday, Hogan and big stuff. Do you remember watching Saturday night main event? Was it special to you?
It was. I think it's more just like being with other people too, and everyone getting together and enjoying, the matches for what they are, whether they're super scripted or not. But I mean, yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Wrestling's fun, and that's why I'm like so excited to get more into it. So yeah, just happy to be here for sure.
Zania, let me ask you, Saturday night's main event. Were you having fun at 1 o'clock in the morning, or did your mom or dad just call you like, "Go to sleep, take away the TV, turn it off, it's too loud"?
It was definitely always that. It was definitely always a tug of war of like, Mom, I need to watch wrestling tonight. It starts at 2 a.m. And they're like, oh no, she's going to be blasting it on the TV. So it was definitely something I always had to wrestle with, pun intended. But yeah, definitely still got my fair share of wrestling growing up.
All right, we're going to look at Saturday night main events. So far, the matches that they have. We'll start off with Zania here for the ladies' tag team titles. We got Rhea Ripley, Io Sky versus Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez. Zania, you'll start us off, then followed by Angie. Go ahead.
I think Rhea Ripley and Io Sky are retaining. I'm almost sure because they're one of the hottest things going on in wrestling right now, probably the hottest thing in women's wrestling. And also, Liv Morgan is only recently back on the road, so I don't think it would make sense to do a title change right now. But it's been awesome to watch how Rhea Ripley specifically has become the face of wrestling to the mainstream viewer. It's amazing because whenever you would mention wrestling, it used to be, oh yeah, John Cena, or oh yeah, The Undertaker, and now it's, oh yeah, Rhea Ripley, because she has absolutely at her young age and somewhat, I wouldn't say recently into her career, but somewhat new of a face to the world of wrestling, right? She has absolutely transcended those. The ceiling of wrestling, the ceiling of the wrestling industry. So I think for WWE to just continue strapping a rocket to her is the only correct decision.
And do you think she gets more ink? Because when you look at when she started in NXT, she had no ink, and now every week it seems she's getting more ink.
Well, good for her. I don't know how she's dealing with it with wrestling because you do need to let it heal because it can actually get messed up if you don't, and if you fall in it or if you get scratched up or
Or
whatever.
even if it gets too wet, right? If she's like sweating and
Yeah,
training and
yeah.
yeah.
And I always hear wrestlers asking each other for advice on like what's the best timing to get tattooed between shows, especially spots that get more impact, like your knees, your elbows, or your arms, this kind of stuff. But it's so funny that like, and I think I've mentioned this on the show already, but people always tell me that they look like young Rhea Ripley, which is crazy to me because first of all, I don't see it at all, and second of all, I'm like significantly older than her, so that's a strange connection
Come
to
on,
make.
only 3 years. Come on, don't age yourself there. Okay, now
Yeah.
I want. Here's a test for Angie. Angie, when we were going through this, you said I got some breaking news on this match. So Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, and Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Roxanne Perez, and Judgment Day and all that. But you told me you have some breaking news on it, so I'm going to give it to you. I don't want you to overscoop, Xenia or me, but go ahead. What's your breaking news?
I mean, I definitely have some thoughts. Like I said, I'm getting more into wrestling, especially the female side of wrestling. Xenia, like you said, everybody knows The Undertaker and, Hulk Hogan and all these like male wrestlers. But I think it's so nice to see females really stepping up now, coming out, people talking about female wrestlers. So, I mean, I think definitely, Rhea Ripley is, she's defending the women's tag team title. I'm definitely calling her to win here, but don't be surprised if this match plants the seeds for tension between the champions themselves. This feels like one of those like slow burning feuds that definitely explodes or starts to explode as we head into WrestleMania season. Win now and lots of more problems later.
Hold on. Hold on. Did she? Let me wait. Xenia, did she say that Rhea Ripley and Io Sky are going to face off against each other at WrestleMania? Is that the breaking news you're giving me?
Maybe.
I guess so.
She knows something. She knows something
that anyone will go to see. So why not?
Everybody wants to see that because Io Sky, I just want to. I don't care when she goes crazy like that. The crowd pops like crazy.
Right? I was just going to say that, like she's definitely in a class of her own, especially right now. Like I really actually think I would say she's one of the best performers in WWE, period. Not just the women's division, her power, her presence, her storytelling, nobody's touching her consistency. Like again, I think she's not just the best woman wrestler. I think she's definitely one of the best in the WWE.
Yeah, and she's a world-class performer, and I feel like a lot of the time when WWE kind of blends their roster with all these different kinds of people, starting from people who grew up, quote-unquote, with WWE and came out of their developmental, people who are more of showmen and women like Logan Paul, for example, and people who they signed after they had a whole entire successful career elsewhere, we forget that some of these people are actually incredible world-class athletes and performers. And this is not to subtract from people who did go through WWE developmental first. But Io Sky was a superstar at the time of getting signed, and now an even bigger superstar and absolutely deserved. And she's incredible in the ring.
And I can't wait if Angie has it right. I can't wait for that match. And last year they had a 3-way with Bianca Belair, and that match at WrestleMania was certainly one of the matches out of WrestleMania. And if they have a match here, certainly a lot of people. And it doesn't matter if they have one turns heel or both of them are face. I think Xenia, Angie, me, everybody wants to see a match like that in a big stage. Put it that way. Like, who cares? Rhea Ripley wins or the other one wins or anybody, but that is a match that everybody wants to see. Now let's get to the next match on the Saturday night main event from Montreal. I mentioned Montreal because I don't know if you know this, Xenia. I'm Canadian. I'm not only Canadian, Angie's Canadian too, but I'm the president of the provinces of Canada, the mayor-elect of North America, soon to run for Yash. Yash is Romania, the mayor of Romania. And you know that Romania is very good, right? My father and everything like that. So, che fac fatine. All right. See, look, I know Romanian. I don't know French, but I know Romanian. All right. Let's get to the next match.
More Romanian than I do.
Yeah, so that's it. Cody Rhodes versus Jacob Fatu. I'll start off with you, Xenia. Who you got in this one? Because I think it's going to be a smash. And I think, who's going to get involved. And that leads maybe to another match, but who do you got in this one?
Yeah, whenever it comes to Cody Rhodes, I'm a big fan. I've always loved whatever he does, be it in WWE or AEW or in Japan or anywhere or TNA or I don't know, I don't care. But I think here, it would make sense for Jacob Fatu to get the win. I think this is my expectation of the match, and I'm at peace with that. And I know that Cody Rhodes is big enough star of a caliber where it wouldn't affect him too much, and where he doesn't really need all the titles, all the wins, everything to be a top star in WWE. So I don't think that would harm his character necessarily. So yeah, my bet is Jacob fixing him.
Angie agrees with
I was gonna agree. I definitely
but you like Son of a Plumbers. You know, Cody Rhodes, the son of a plumber. You love Son of a Plumbers.
I've got Cody Rhodes definitely winning this one, but I'm going to say it's not going to be clean. I do also think, maybe I have some inside tips, I do think Drew McIntyre might get involved here. That kind of feels a little inevitable. WWE loves chaos, especially around Cody, and this match just, screams outside interference, setting up the new feud. So I think Cody wins, but it won't be pretty.
Okay, Xenia, you gotta come up. If she's gonna break stories like this, you gotta tell me something. Like I can't. Like, what's Angie? Did you really know wrestling and you just want to be on wrestling just to over scoop me? Come on.
They're just my thoughts. Just my thoughts. When I'm sleeping at night, these visions come to my
head. Are you dreaming about other men? Like, is it Speedos and all that? Okay. So
who doesn't love wrestlers? They're all greasy and shiny and actually Xenia,
you like greasy guys. All right, not bad. You like greasy guys.
Xenia posted something the other day. It was about the wrestlers and why they're always so wet. Do they have a pool backstage? I was
dying. Yeah, they're just chilling in the jacuzzi before they come out with that.
Yeah. That was so funny.
You know what though? It's so interesting because obviously the reason number one is muscle definition, right? Reason number two is the hair gets in the face, which again, obviously the women don't get the privilege of coming out soaking wet. Unfortunately, but
why not? I want to know my petition for all the late. Never mind. Go ahead.
The one thing that I actually recently read about is that there was a study where it found that apparently, psychologically or almost subconsciously, we find people who are wet more attractive. If a person glistens, they come across more attractive. So I think that's part of the reason why.
It's psychological.
Yeah.
You guys are going to get me in trouble, so I'm not making a comment about this, right?
You're no comment on this topic.
You're no comment. I'm not talking about how wet I am already. All right, so now we get Randy Orton, Damian Priest, Trick Williams. Whoop, that Trick, by the way. And Sami Zayn in his hometown for the number one contender in a fatal four-way match. The winner of this match takes on Drew McIntyre next week at the Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia. We'll talk about that just after this. But Xenia, what do you think? Who you think's going to face Drew McIntyre at the Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia?
I think I'm being so optimistic about WWE today and giving them all the benefit of the doubt because I think the optimistic prediction here would be that Trick Williams picks up the win because all the other ones are, veterans in their own way. And, I'm a big Randy Orton fan. So again, my knee-jerk reaction is to be like, oh, I want Randy Orton to win. But he's definitely had his glory days and he's more of the end of his career. Maybe I don't want to say it's so scary to say, but somewhat towards the end of his career, so probably wouldn't make sense. However, since we have Saudi Arabia on the map, they love their legends. They love to make people come out of retirement and or do things that they didn't want to do on regular shows. So maybe Randy Orton would actually make sense. But I'm going to stay optimistic. I'm going to say that WWE has come to their senses. They're giving way to new and young talent, and I'm going to be like, hey, maybe Trick Williams just picks an upset victory up. I don't know.
Do you like to whip that Trick? Never mind. All right. I know Lash Legend, who we had on Huge Pop Radio, a great interview. Check that out on the Fired Up Audio Network. But the Lash Legend, by the way, who's married now to Trick Williams. Angie, do you have any scoops on this match? And do you have any
visions or prophetic dreams on this one?
On the Royal Rumble.
So,
all right, go ahead.
This fatal four-way is definitely stacked, Randy Orton, Damian Priest, Trick Williams, Sami Zayn. I won't sleep, or any of us shouldn't really sleep on that, Montreal hometown connection here. I feel like anyone, when, they've got a crowd of hometown love behind them, it gives them just that little extra push. I'm gonna go with the Canadian on this one. I'm gonna say Sami Zayn, so we'll see.
I would agree with that if it wasn't for the fact that Sami Zayn is for sure not going to Saudi Arabia. So unfortunately, that's off the table. But well, or fortunately, actually, he's actually one of the few people who has kept a very strong stance on the issue. So maybe fortunately, not unfortunately, but
Is he he's for sure not going, eh?
you
Well,
Okay, that's my answer.
here's another scoop that I don't know. Both of you did not tell me. They are working on something with Sami Zayn about possibly, because don't forget, next year's WrestleMania is in Saudi Arabia,
know,
and the Royal Rumble is in Saudi Arabia next week. Where right now, if I had to pencil in who would win the Royal Rumble, it will be Sami Zayn. So right now they're negotiating hard with Sami Zayn, and if it makes sense. If you look at it, it makes sense because he's been trying and he's been trying and he's been trying and he's been trying, and Royal Rumbles in Saudi Arabia. If he's gonna win, you know, whoever he take, I don't think he's gonna take on, the Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes and Fatu are gonna have a match at most likely WrestleMania there. So what about Sami Zayn, CM Punk, with Braun Breaker or whatever like that? Because they're two guys that I hear would win the Royal Rumble right now as we speak. One could be Sami Zayn. Next one could be Braun Breaker. And I want to touch on something that Zania talked about, how in Saudi Arabia they like legends and all that. There's a retirement match happening between AJ Styles and Gunther. I like saying that name.
You're
All right, makes me like excited for that. Now I'm gonna tell you this. Angie gave a spoiler. Here's my spoiler, and I don't know if they should do this because Gunther beat Goldberg, beat John Cena. He's the legend killer and all that. I hear that AJ Styles will not lose at Royal Rumble. Although, if you look at when I'll ask Zania this. Do you remember when AJ Styles was brought in to the WWE? What premier live event it was? I'm giving it away, but what premier
I'm
live
too
event?
young. I don't remember.
It was the Royal Rumble. It was the Royal Rumble. So what ending would be if he ends at the Royal Rumble? But he's not going to end at the Royal Rumble. I think it's going to be a schmoz, and I think they're going to have a rematch at WrestleMania where Gunther puts AJ Styles' career bye-bye. Now, here's another thing. Zania will touch on this, and then we'll conclude here. You were in AEW this week and all that, and saw Bishop Dreyer, Baron Corbin there and all that. But did you know, and I'll break some news because I broke this news. Angie, you got to give me this. All right, for last, and I told Angie about a month ago. AEW is going to have pay-per-view October 18th here in Toronto at the Scotiabank Arena. It will be announced just shortly after Raw. Okay, it will be Wrestle Dream. It is Edge's last match here, confirmed to me October 18th. Now, there is some talk with Edge, Adam Copeland, myself, Tony Khan. Yes, I spoke to Tony Khan. He owes me $100,000, but we're getting it slowly. All right. Edge could have a one-on-one singles match, could have a tag team match with his partner Christian, where they'll have for the first time ever a double retirement or a 3-person tag match. Edge, Christian, and somebody named Beth Phoenix up against maybe and Stokely or whatever. That's what I hear. But bank it, book it, put anything you want on it. October 18th, Wrestle Dream, Scotiabank Arena, Edge, and possibly Christian's last match ever. What do you think about that, Zania?
That would definitely be an epic way to end an epic career, and especially with Beth Phoenix in the mix, she's an absolute legend, and she changed the face of women's wrestling in the world, and I just admire her so much. But it's so sad for me to think that Christian might be done, because I feel like lately in this last like 5-ish years or less even, he's been at the peak of his career. He's been better than he's ever been before, and it doesn't really feel like he's about to be done, which obviously we don't know, what happens behind closed doors, what happens in his personal life. So if he is done, then obviously we would love nothing more than to see a beautiful moment concluded, right? But I definitely wouldn't want Christian to be done yet. But to see Edge or Cope retire with his best friend, his wife by his side, how beautiful would that be?
In Toronto. We're out
In Toronto.
Canada. So and here, Xenia, I'm gonna ask you, who's your pick to win the Royal Rumble? Just in case we don't have you on next week because you're busy running around with Aaron Stevens and AEW and FCW and NXT and
MLW next week too.
NWA, everything like that. So who's your pick? Because you're not going to go to Saudi Arabia also.
No, I don't think that's a good place for me.
For those people who don't know, right now the rumor has WrestleMania 43 is going to be in Saudi Arabia. I know quite a few people who love to go to WrestleMania. They go to Philadelphia. They've been in Vegas. They're going to Vegas this year and love to go to WrestleMania, but they will not. They will not go to Saudi Arabia. So maybe that could take a hit for the WWE. Maybe next year they'll have, and there's some talk of this, having 2 WrestleManias.
But then it's not WrestleMania.
Yeah,
right?
that's not the same.
Well, the tickets for WrestleMania are like the prices to see you, like a Backstreet Boy concert, is like $6,000.
I know.
But also,
did you see the tickets for WrestleMania, Xenia? For WrestleMania 42, it's like $5,000.
I know.
Yeah, I talked about it last time I was on here that WWE are trying to take all the good things from UFC and apply them, but I don't think the pricing should be one of those things. I think the production should be one of those things. The show structure should be one of those things because UFC have been making an incredible product. And they just made their move to Paramount, right? So I'm excited to see like how much even better it's gonna be because there's a show actually coming up tomorrow. Is it tomorrow? Saturday?
Yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow. Petty Pimblett with Justin Gagey for the interim lightweight title.
Who you like in that one?
Patty, I'm a big Patty fan. He's like my top 3 favorites ever. So
let me ask you this. This is gonna be funny, okay? Do you like Patty because he sweats? Because he's wet? Honestly, or
maybe I don't even know what that's crazy if I like him. Maybe, or maybe because we're both iconic blondes. I don't know.
Iconic blondes. Hold on. I may get myself in trouble, but are you really blonde? Because Patty Pimblett, I think tomorrow he may wake up pink or black hair or whatever. Who knows what type of hair color he'll have by tomorrow.
I guess we'll never know. But I've been blonde for a very long time, for like 10 years. But I was a natural blonde, but you know how a lot of girls who are natural blondes, you get older and you get darker, but you've been dyeing your hair or highlighting your hair, so you don't know. But I'm technically a blonde, so let me have this.
Okay, so here I'm going to ask for every guy, and I know, Angie, you want to ask. I know, since you're not going to get yourself in trouble, do blondes have more fun? That's what Angie wants to know because she wants the purple hair, she's got a blue hair and all that. Do blondes have more fun?
Blondes do have more fun, but you know who has even more fun? Girls with colorful hair. So Angie's doing everything right.
Oh, there you go. See, this is not a wrestling show. This is an everything show. We get wet, we put hair, we do everything like that. All right. And just final question to Xenia here. Xenia, Royal Rumble. And it came down yesterday, I believe. Yesterday was the biggest grossing Premier Live event by the WWE last year. Now, Royal Rumble this year, it's going to be on a Saturday, and it's at 2 p.m. Again, it's in Saudi Arabia and all that. Does that take away from, Royal Rumble's one of the big premier live events of the year. Does that take it away, or is that better like the old days were, premier live events at 4 p.m.? Is that better?
To me, that's better, especially since it's on a Saturday and people always, for some reason, because I never thought it was a problem, but people for some reason always complain that pay-per-views run too late, that they want to go to bed, it's past their bedtime.
No, that's all they complain about AEW, 7 hours.
Yeah. No, but that's what I'm saying. Like AEW, people say AEW pay-per-views are long, but they're not even close to how long some WWE pay-per-views are, and they're not even close to how long UFC pay-per-views are. And like we were touching on that today, that like for me makes no sense to complain that you're going to bed late, because I grew up in Europe and I grew up watching shows that started at 2 a.m. And then the time that Royal Rumble starts, or the time that other Saudi Arabia shows start, is not even that bad, because we're not talking New Japan where you have to wake up at 8 a.m. to watch the show, right? That would definitely take away from the ratings. But 2 p.m. is a nice, peaceful middle ground, and I really don't think it's going to take away from it. I really think it's going to, if anything, which, my stance on the Saudi Arabia shows is not 1,000% positive, but from just the standpoint of the start time, it's going to make it more of a family show. It's going to make it more accessible to people, and it being on Saturday is perfect timing as well. So I really don't think it's going to take away from the magic of the PLE.
So, and here's the question. I'll ask both of you guys. Daniel, you'll start. Who wins the men Royal Rumble? Who wins the ladies Royal Rumble?
My God, this is a tough question, especially for me as someone who has only been like keeping up with WWE super professionally lately. But I definitely would like to see Braun Breaker propelled in his career, because he's been just so great and has been absolutely everything that WWE has ever wanted. They have a gold nugget in their hands. And this is not to say that he's the best wrestler in the world. Sorry, Braun Breaker. But that is to say that WWE has a very specific cookie cutter of what kind of wrestler they want and what kind of wrestler they can and will push. So I really hope they don't miss out on the treasure that they have in Braun Breaker. As for the women's, oh my gosh, I always like to see younger people win or newer people win. So even someone like Lash Legend would be amazing for me personally. Or also maybe Stephanie Vaquer. It's such a bummer that she's such an incredible wrestler, but placed in the context of WWE, you have to change and you have to adapt and you have to be a little different. And I went to a Raw in Orlando late last year in December. And it's so sad to see that she actually had such a great match, but the only spots that got the reaction were, the butt spots. And unfortunately, that's what the WWE audience wants. They want a quick, easy thrill. They want high spots, not even in an indie sense of like, oh my God, they're jumping off of balconies, but in the sense of like, oh, this is a gift, right? So maybe reframing that and maybe having her chase a title, having her chase a higher achievement would change the perception of her a little bit. So I would love to see that as well. Or maybe even Liv Morgan, because she was out for a little bit, and I would like to see her removed from the strictly tag team situation right now, because I think she thrives as a singles wrestler in the context of a faction and outside of it. But I do think she has that star quality to carry a title, or at the very least a title feud, a singles title feud. So I would like to see that as well. I know that was like 4 answers instead of 1. I'm sorry.
All right. So again, and to Xenia, tell everybody how they can get a hold of you. She's got a tremendous following on social media. She knows wrestling very much. We forgot to mention you were in AEW show. What do you think? Maybe we spoiled it for some with Baron Corbin. I don't know if you saw him, but he was there.
It's not a spoiler because it was a dark match, and I don't think that's seen the light of day. And like we were saying before we started rolling, I think that he did comment that apparently he didn't know that he was even going to have a match, that he was just there for the show. He was there to say hi to people backstage, and Billy Gunn was like, hey, we're having this dark match. Do you want to be in it? And he's like, sure, if it's okay, I would love to be in it. And it was a good match too. It was a big 8-man tag. And he got a really good reaction, a really nice big pop. And then in the context of modern wrestling, you get the big pop and then you get the clickety-clack of people tweeting about it. But that was actually a really good reaction. People were really happy to see him. And people are already getting into arguments online about whether he needs to be in AEW, whether he has a place in AEW. I do agree with a lot of people saying that it definitely paints him as a good, humble person to be in a dark match, because a lot of people post WWE let their ego get in the way of things. And it's good to see that he isn't. I think he would be a pretty good fit for AEW, and I think he's one of the better, more multifaceted, less explored people / characters that WWE has lost. I think he's always been great, and he's always done the best that he could with what he was given. So I would love to see him in a company that wouldn't place those constraints on him. But yeah, excited to see this unravel. And it was a fun show. We also got a surprise Collision taping because the Texas show got canceled because of weather conditions. And I also got a little scoop that even the staff or the wrestlers didn't know until the afternoon of that day that there was going to be a Collision taping. They just thought that, the network would be contacted and they would just run a replay of an older show or of a pay-per-view. But Tony Khan made the executive decision to do a taping, and he walked out and spoke to us several times, and he was very thankful that people decided to stay so late because we were in the arena until about midnight. And sometimes when there's a later taping, a lot of people would leave, but I was actually pleasantly surprised to see that most of the attendees stayed for the taping, and we got to see some awesome matches. The card for the Collision was absolutely amazing, and we got the CMLL world title match with Roderick Strong and Claudio Castagnoli. Yeah. So I was very happy to get some extra wrestling, and a lot of people in Orlando were too. So I'm excited.
And that was a match. Like I hear that was a very, very good match. I hear that was very, very good match. So Claudio should be giving the ball more. But I have to ask. I know Angie doesn't want me to ask this, but me and my good Jewish friend Maxwell Jacob Friedman, who is the heavy. Angie, listen to this. Maxwell Jacob Friedman, my good Jewish friend, is the heavyweight champion in AEW. Now, me and him look almost the same. And like, he's Jewish, I'm Jewish. We're better than anybody here. Okay, I'm the president. He's like wants to run for vice president and all that. But what do you think of Maxwell Jacob Friedman's second title run? He has not defended the title yet. He's running away from Hangman Page. He's running away from Swerve Strickland. He's running away from Samoa Joe. He's running away from Kenny Omega. He's running away from Kevin Knight. He's running away from all the roster, but he's still he's the Dynamite. Even though he's not, but he is the 5-time Dynamite champion and beating Bandito there. And that match was great there. What do you think of my good Jewish? He's texting me right now. He says stop talking about himself. All right. But what do you think about my good Jewish friend, Maxwell Jacob Friedman?
I think that I'm a giant fan of MGF. I think he's one of the better things happening in the current landscape of wrestling. The best. Okay. I think he's a legend in the making. I think he's definitely a future Hall of Famer, quote unquote. And it's one person that he can't run from, Brody King. He's not going to be able to run from him, and I'm sure we'll see this match very soon, and it's going to be amazing. And one thing that they keep saying about MJF, and that I think is very special and important to me personally, because I've been in wrestling for so long, and I think you guys will agree with me that at some point you analyze it so much that the results stop to matter, because at this point you want to see a good match, you want to see a storyline that makes sense, you want to see great people showcased that you like and that you think deserve the spotlight, and the result is secondary, because as we've mentioned, it is predetermined. So at this point it's like, oh, if my favorite just gets a good match out of this, cool. However, I feel like MJF is one of the few people where the way he works his storylines, he makes me care about who wins, whether it being me really wanting him to win or whether it being me really wanting him to lose. He really makes you care who wins the match. And I think in the current landscape where we're all smarts and everything is overanalyzed, that is such a special talent, such a special skill to have. So he's always absolutely fantastic to watch, and I'm excited to see how this title run unravels.
Xenia, you could even ask him. I'll give you his phone number. Could even ask him. I taught him everything he knows. And for Angie, you know what they say, the big commercial, CFL, NFL, what do they say? CFL, Canadian Football League, our balls are bigger. Okay? That's what they say. Xenia doesn't know because that's we're talking about football. But isn't it true, Angie? The CFL commercial says our balls are bigger. Okay, him and Miz, they have nothing comparable, nothing. And I spoke to Maurice, and I'm telling you, all right. And you talk about MJF right now. MJF, forget about wrestling wise, he's a great wrestler, but nobody. He's better on the mic, and he puts down people like boom, like this. There's nobody who puts down more people than him, and he gets away with murder. And Tony Khan loves it because he pays him more and more and more and more.
But the reason why he gets away with murder like that is because of his extremely professional and diligent character work. You don't see a lot of wrestlers these days who are in character all of the time, in the selfies with his wife, while walking from the arena to the convention center. And this is also not to say that I think everyone should do it. I really, really don't think so, actually. And I think we do benefit as an industry from the separation of character from the quote-unquote actor. However, this makes it even more special that he's one of the very, very few people who does it. And this is exactly why. He's portrayed this character who is so irrevocably evil, who is so unquestionably wrong and bad, that he can say the most outlandish things because it's such a universal understanding of everything that he says is opposite day. Everything that he says is bad, and everything that he opposes is good. So that's exactly why he can get away with absolutely anything that any other wrestler wouldn't, because since we have this mixture in every wrestler, which again is good and healthy, I think, of their personal life, their personal beliefs, and the character, if they go even on their most horrible evil heel run, they go and say something so bad, there will always be a question in your mind of like, do they maybe part of them actually believes that, part of them agrees with that? But Max has done such a great job by combining, actually resulting in that separation of this is a character, this is not him, that he can say absolutely anything. And I think it's such a beautiful phenomenon in the world of wrestling right now.
I agree. And I think that's part of my interest now in wrestling too is, we've said it, we all know it, it's pretty scripted, but I like watching that character development and, just learning more about these people, like these wrestlers, these athletes. There's so much more to it than just a boxing match, or there is that acting component, and it's interesting to just see them all kind of come into their own and play those characters both on the mat and off the mat, right?
Yeah, and you just triggered actually a thought that I had this week about this. So I love wrestling.
Was it a dream? Did it come to you in a dream?
Yes, that was a revelation. But I love wrestling, right? And I love MMA, both, but in different ways. And I realized that I love wrestling for everything that it has that MMA doesn't. And I love MMA for everything that it has that wrestling doesn't. So an example would be predictability, because, sue me if I'm wrong, but for me, predictability in wrestling is a good thing. A lot of the times, predictability is a sign of good storytelling. Sometimes something is predictable, not because it's boring, but because it makes sense, because it's good writing, right? Of course, we still want big, surprising moments, whatever, but sometimes, a lot of the time, predictability in wrestling is good. And another part of that predictability is you always get the bang for your buck, because if you show up for this super hyped pay-per-view with this super hyped main event, you're going to get the full experience of that main event. In MMA, if you show up for a super hyped pay-per-view with a super hyped main event, it can end in 3 seconds.
It can.
By someone having a freak accident, falling weird, and breaking their arm without their opponent even touching them, laying a finger on them, right? But then it has this element of this wild unpredictability. You never ever know what's going to happen, and you have to watch like a hawk because you can blink and it can end. And those two things are just so different, and that's why it blows my mind, and I hate it when I talk to people about wrestling and they're like, oh, but it's not real, just
so fake.
The real thing. MMA is not the real thing of wrestling. Those are, if you dig not even deeper, if you just as little as plunge your shovel into the gravel a little bit, those are fundamentally different types of media, fundamentally different sports. I'm sorry, I'm gonna get like heated about this kind of stuff.
No, it's true. It's
But
true.
yeah, I love the other for what the other lacks. So
Xenia, I got a text. You said Max. He says, tell Xenia not to call me Max. Call me Maxwell.
Mr. Maxwell Jacob Friedman, the AEW world champion.
And he's better than you, and you know it. And
he's better than me, and I know it. Yes.
And put it this way. And I know, Angie, this guy had put down his wife, like, disgustingly, how he put down his wife 2-3 years ago and everything, and now it's his wife. Put it that way, all right? That's and she's a lady interviewer. She worked for AEW also. So Maxwell Jacob Friedman, honestly, they talk about the WWE and they talk about CM Punk, who's champion, and Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, and Angie, you didn't acknowledge him lately, all right? So, but nobody has. They have to acknowledge Maxwell Jacob Friedman just because he's Jewish, all right? He's Jewish, and boy, I'm gonna get him more time. I don't care. You know what? I'm gonna say it, Angie. I'm gonna say it. Jesus was Jewish, all right? So is Maxwell Jacob Friedman. All right. So Xenia, tell everybody how they could get a hold of you and check her out. Check out her shows on Instagram. I think it's every Monday. You'll find it very informative. Wrestlers, especially one that I know of, check it out daily and talk to you and everything like that. You want to tell who I'm talking about? Go ahead, Xenia.
Yeah, you can find me at Xenia did that. You can see it on your screen right now, right here. For wrestling fans, you'll find all kinds of content, cover live shows, I interview wrestlers, and this is the same nickname on Instagram, X, and YouTube. So check it out, whatever type of content you prefer. And for wrestlers, like Joseph said, I have my lives on Instagram every Monday at 2 p.m. And I am here to help you grow your brand, to help you grow your online presence, and subsequently make more money from wrestling, because most wrestlers on the independents are only making 10% of their capacity, 10% of how much money they could be making. So if it's been your dream to make wrestling your full-time career, or you're maybe somewhat further in your career and you want to maximize it and you want to become the superstar that you deserve to be, get in touch with me, or click the link in my bio and read it first, and then get in touch with me, whatever works, and let's do this. Let's elevate you to superstardom.
And you know what, Xenia, now close to like millions of people, because now we're on Roku, and Angie's going to tell everybody about that. See on the right corner, but Angie, go ahead, because
yes.
They need to hear this from Xenia too, so go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Xenia, along with all of us, we're now also streaming on all Roku devices. So you can either scan the QR code right in the corner of your screen there, or literally just search Fired Up, all one word, and it'll come up and you can find us on all Roku devices as well as all social platforms as well.
All right. And remember, Xenia and Ange, MJF and the president of the province of Canada are better than you. And you know it. Thanks a lot. Enjoy Saturday night's main event. And maybe, just maybe, if Xenia can overscoop me with some news regarding Royal Rumble and Saudi. If I gave you a trip to Saudi Arabia, would you go?
No. I don't know. Let me actually think about it. I don't want to get into the technicalities of this. Maybe.
No, but I will say, you know what? We didn't talk about it, but I am curious to see what the women wrestlers are going to be wearing or not wearing, because that's going to be a big thing.
Catsuits. We know exactly what they're going to be wearing. Catsuits.
Can they at least glam them up a bit?
They usually do. But,
All right. Don't get me more in trouble here because I'm getting wet. All right. Thanks a lot, ladies, and enjoy Saturday night's main event. Thank you, Xenia. Thank you, Angie.
Thank you.